try that again. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to our annual concert that we have with our junior high students with Blackstock and also E.O. Green Junior High School. We are so honored to have these students here, and I have to ask the audience, how many of you were band students way back when? Anybody? I see that. Because tonight we have a special guest in our midst that's going to help us out, and possibly this person may have been your band director. So I'm going to ask for people in our audience, as I call them, that are special, that have made our band program so successful, to please stand and celebrate with us. Our former band director that's here today with us is Mrs. Dolores Walker. Thank you so much for coming. Also, we have in our midst, we have our superintendent, Dr. Dannenberg. Along with him, Mrs. DeSmith, our assistant superintendent. I also have Dr. McCluskey, also our assistant superintendent of business services. You'll also probably see somebody wandering around taking pictures, and that's Mr. Newton. Wherever he is, hiding from us. And of course, it would not be possible without our wonderful principals. I have Miss Julianne Pena from E.O. Green. And I don't know if they're in the audience, but I also know we have a couple assistant principals that have helped her out. That's Mrs. Kara Comstock. Along with her is Mrs. Martha Romero. From Blackstock School, we have Mr. Tom Beneke. Along with him, we have Mr. David Wilcox. And finally, Mr. Duran. Before we begin our performance, there are several things that I want to remind everybody. First of all, there's no food or drink in this wonderful place that we're allowed to perform. The restrooms are located in the back, and if you have someone young, please go with them. We don't want anyone to get lost along the way. Along with that, at the end of a performance, please make sure that you pick up everything that you have brought with you. And of course, my final request is, we have such wonderful players here. I don't want them to hear any extra music. So if you could please turn your cell phones off or on vibrate right now. And of course, our students, this would not be possible without two of our wonderful band directors that put in so much extra time to bring both of these bands together. I'd like to introduce Mrs. Judy Rotenberg from E.O. Green School. And from Blackstock School, I'd like to introduce Mr. Don Bond. I know we're in for a wonderful treat tonight, so I'm going to, at this time, hand it over to them. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It is so nice to see such a wonderful crowd here tonight. Thank you so much for coming to our concert. Aren't they great? And that's only the warm-up. That's not even our tunes yet. So time to get on to our first actual song called Newcastle Overture.
And that was only the first selection. Isn't that cool? Yes. These are your kids up here. That's the coolest thing in the world. Our next selection, Dreams of Victory, takes inspiration from all of the great musical themes from the world of athletic competition, whether it be from the Olympics, amateur, college, or professional sports. For all of you LA Kings fans, your dream of a Stanley Cup are about to become a reality, but not, I don't think, tonight. They're behind 2-1, and it's the 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Not that I was checking. But thanks for being here tonight, everybody. It was hard for me too. I think you're going to enjoy this, though. Think of all the great themes you've heard over the years on ABC Sports and everything. Dreams of Victory. Parents, we appreciate your allowing your young ladies and gentlemen to switch off the instruments. As you can see, some of them frantically running around. That's because they're multi-talented and they're willing to do other things besides play their original instruments. So thank you very much for allowing them to do that. And thank you, students, for being willing to do something to help the band. This catchy syncopated melody and happy island beat of this next piece will musically transport you to the blue water, white sands, and balmy air of Oxnard shores. No, the Caribbean. Oh, we have it. What do they have that we don't? This speech, which also demonstrates Jamaican mento and reggae influences, captures the spirit of the Jamaican music, hence the name Jamaica Me Crazy. All right, everybody say, "Ya man." Now we're ready.
Mike is tall. You know, it used to be that you'd hear music in a lot of different places. You'd hear it in elevators, you hear it on TV shows, you hear it at the movies, you hear it at concerts. So you have a lot of opportunity to hear music, and if you're a musician, you have a lot of opportunity to be a professional musician making music. Well, these days, one of the biggest, most popular ways to hear music is while you're playing a game. Our next song is from World of Warcraft, and it's called Lion's Pride.
Hey kids, you like the rock and roll? What? Really? Was this a rest home? I said, hey kids, you like the rock and roll? That's more like it. I feel like Dave Letterman up here. Our next piece, Land of a Thousand Dances, it was actually composed originally 50 years ago when I was only 2. It was actually recorded originally by the composer Chris Kenner, and then by, are you ready for this? Cannibal and the Headhunters. And I thought today's groups had weird names. But was made most famous by the Wicked One. Anybody ever heard of Wilson Pickett? In the Midnight Hour, etc., etc. Yeah. Actually, that was the biggest hit that he ever had. Was this one, Land of a Thousand Dances.
Every year, the concert band concludes their portion of the program with Armed Forces March. It's a salute to all people who have served or are serving or who have loved ones who are serving in the armed forces. So you are invited as you listen to this piece, when you hear your particular branch of the service, you are certainly welcome to stand as is customary. And I want to tell you that I am thrilled at the job these kids have done. This concert band is a wonderful start for these young musicians, and I can't wait to hear where they go from here. Armed Forces March. Thank you, and thank you to all of you who serve our country. It'll take us just a moment to change bands. Don't go anywhere, it's not really an intermission. And we're going to get started with the symphonic band in just a second.
welcome to the second half. Thank you for your patience. Wasn't the concert band outstanding? Symphonic band, our first selection will be Jefferson County Overture, just like in your program. It's the piece that both symphonic bands played right here on this very stage on March 17th, I believe. Yeah, it was St. Patrick's Day. And they played it so well, both bands, that they both received an excellent, which is the second highest rating you can get. So way to go, symphonic band. Also, this song has 3 parts, so be prepared for that. There's a fast section followed by a slow, and then another fast, and just be ready. Here we go. Jefferson County Overture.
Clark is a very interesting composer with a very interesting sense of humor, which figures because he was a trombone player and he played in the Air Force Band and became a composer. He works with the creator of Funky Winkerbean comics, and they actually created a musical together, Funky Winkerbean's Homecoming. And so he's got a great sense of humor. So it doesn't surprise me too much that he wrote "What Happens in Band Stays in Band."
And now is the part I've been really looking forward to for quite some time now. When I arrived down here in Southern California, I was born and raised in Northern California, in 2003, when I was able to get this fabulous job down here in Paradise. My program was pretty well set in place. My predecessor had been in the HUENEME School District for, are you ready? 35 years. Yes. Which is amazing. And before that, she taught in the Oxnard district for a total of 39 years, ladies and gentlemen. And I appreciate everything she did because I just walked into a nice program and I really appreciate that. And at this time, it is my distinct pleasure on this 40th anniversary, which by the way, she helped start, Mrs. Dolores Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. This is a real privilege for me to be here tonight working with these terrific students. And I'm so lucky I didn't have to do any work. They were all prepared by these great teachers and ready to go when I got here. Thank you so much. And thank you to the administrators Board of Trustees, the teachers for keeping this wonderful program going. It's really worth it.
I always wanted to be on stage with a legend. That was cool. Our next piece, Jungle Dance, depicts a celebration in the middle of a jungle, surprisingly. It's not specific to people. It actually represents a celebration of all living things, animals, plants, people, all coming together in a high-energy celebration of life and nature. More significantly, it involves the different sections of the band entering and playing at different times. Not yet. In a very difficult manner. It's extremely difficult. They all have different entrances at different times, and the amazing thing is they pull it off, as they, of course, you would assume they would do, and they're wonderful. I hope you enjoy this jungle dance. And now for something for the kids, and the kids at heart. It's been over 8 years since that fabulous, my new favorite Disney film came out, The Incredibles. Anybody seen The Incredibles? It's incredible. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It has awesome music, great storyline. The composer of the end credits at the end is the one and only Gordon Goodwin from Thousand Oaks, right around here. Some awesome music. And this one will feature an outstanding alto saxophone soloist, Mr. A.J. Wall. Please welcome him, and here's the theme from The Incredibles. Before we play our final selection, before Ms. Rotenberg takes the microphone, I'd like to do something really important. Is Mrs. Sansonado in the audience? Effie? Where are you? Oh, somebody go get her. Can someone get her? Thank you, Richard. Mr. Calzada, thank you to the rescue. Ladies and gentlemen, you enjoy those programs you're looking at, those lovely green things? Every year now for 9 years in a row, and those tickets that were distributed and sold and made, that woman right there, Mrs. Evie Sansonado, wave your hand up high. She does this every single year out of the goodness of her heart. And thank you, Evie, we love you. And thank you also to a big help is Miss Lofton. I don't know that you were introduced. Miss Lofton, thank you for helping out with the ticket sales, and she just volunteers for anything musical for me. Thank you, Miss Lofton. Thank you. Look at all these staff members here too. Thank you, Miss Leo, Miss Phillips, Mr. Calzada, all these wonderful people. Thank you, district office. Everybody. All right. I think I've stolen enough microphone. I just had to say thank you to Miss Abby. Thank you.
It always surprises me when we get to the last number because we spend so long working up the music, learning everything, rehearsing it. And I have to say right now, folks, I am so happy with your children. Didn't they do a great job? And it always comes as a surprise that here we are at our last number already. Wow. So before we get to it, I just want to mention to you that it's always a little bit hectic for the band students to put their instruments away and so forth. I know you want to come right back here and give them a big hug and congratulate them. Please hold off, let them get their things put away, and then they should meet you wherever you have planned to meet. But if a bunch of parents come back here right afterwards, it is a mess. So if you can give us just a few minutes to get things organized and get things all put away, that would be really, really awesome. The last number we're going to play is by Victor Lopez. I don't know how it happened. I also directed the piece by Victor Lopez that we played in the concert band program, which was Lion's Pride. This time, I'm directing a piece that is called Andalusia, which is also the name of a town in the south of Spain. And it's a wonderful march with a lovely Spanish flair. I hope you enjoy Andalusia.
I hope everyone enjoyed this wonderful performance. Let's give them another big round of applause. And we also have two students that would like to thank Mrs. Rosenberg and Mr. Bond.
It is an honor to work with your children. I am so looking forward to continuing the work and enjoying every year. And Mr. Bond and I both say thank you for being a wonderful audience. And good night.
See you next year.